It's Friday. That can mean only one thing. It's time for the Dental Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Crabtree, where today we're talking about one of the most important and most often underutilized pieces of your day. What exactly makes an effective morning huddle? Hi, folks. I'm Sean Crabtree.
And I'm Cameron Bailey.
We don't want to change the way you do business.
We want to change the way you're thinking about your business.
We want you to have better results, happier clients, and make more money.
Let's get it started.
And welcome back. Mr. Producer has us on a beautiful sunny day overlooking the green waters of Thames Ford Lake, which we all should be jumping into at some point today, Mr. Producer. Oh, yeah. So what we're talking about is what makes an effective morning huddle. I can tell you that in working with offices from Vancouver in British Columbia to Barbados and from Nassau to the Great Lakes over the last 21 plus years, I can tell you that the vast majority, almost 100% of the morning meetings that we see when we first walk into, analyzing a practice and evaluating what's going on, one of the first things we see is the team meeting in the morning huddle sucks. I mean, it's a total and utter waste of time. And if you're listening to this while you're driving down the road, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you've experienced it if you've been involved in dentistry for any length of time. What usually happens is people show up, everybody's half asleep, some people are carrying their breakfast, everybody's got like one eye closed, and you've always got a couple people who are morning people, and somebody's joking and carrying on, and half the other people are half asleep, and we go through about 5 minutes in a very monotone sort of way, walking through the schedule. That is not an effective team meeting. I would tell you that an effective team meeting, number one overall, is about planning your day. But the schedule is such a small piece of planning your day, and walking through and knowing that Miss Jones needs A, B, C, and D. A lot of that's given time to in the morning huddle, honestly, can be read in the schedule, right? The thing that really makes the morning huddle work is looking at planning your day from an overall standpoint. So what are some things that I mean by when I say, overall standpoint? Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to assume if you are listening to this right now, I'm going to assume that you are a forward-thinking business, engineered kind of dental practice. You already understand that business acumen is the number one thing that's going to help you drive your business forward. So because of that, my assumption for this conversation is you've already got goals in your practice. You've gotten those goals broken down in a production standpoint. You've got them separated from hygiene to operative. You've got those further broken down into chairs on a per day basis. So you've got a set of goals already. If you don't, then obviously that would be step one, but now we're talking about a complete cultural shift, and you probably need to go see one of our other videos about education not equaling growth. But if you understand that the business acumen is part of who we are, then you're embedded in your culture. You have goals in every area of the practice. You got collection goals, production goals broken down as small as possible per chair. Now, planning your day in the morning huddle takes on a whole new meaning. If you've got that laid out, then your morning huddle is very specific. The first thing that's got to happen is the morning huddle is not a brainstorming session. The morning huddle is a planning of your day session. It's a strategy session. So a couple things have to happen. Number one, we already know the goals for the day. Each producer needs to come into that morning huddle having already done their due diligence, having already figured out what does my day look like. Where is it that I'm going to be scheduled to today? How does that look versus my goal? And next step, what needs to happen to be able to get me to my goal? So with all of that done, that 3 minutes or whatever spent before I come into the morning meeting, now my morning meeting is really about planning my day. Because the due diligence is done, I can come into the morning meeting and make very specific requests of the people around me to be able to get to my goal. Now that's just me, and then I'm gonna, pass the baton to the next person and the next person and the next person and the next person all the way around to the front desk, the administrative frontline leader, who is now going to have a collection goal. And so, in essence, the morning meeting is about planning your day, but it's not about simply discussing the schedule. To be able to make it effective, number one, each producer, all the hygienists and all the assistants, and the front desk, right? Everybody who's responsible for a goal is going to come to the table having already done their due diligence. That means I've looked at what is my goal, what is on the schedule, what is my shortfall, how am I going to get there, and now I'm coming to the morning meeting making the request specifically of the specific people to be able to get to that goal, and then each person in line does the very same thing. This concept with the schedule would be the same. Let me say that differently. The person who's responsible for the schedule would then make requests beyond that for today and for tomorrow. Now we're planning ahead. Now, the way to think about this is, if the morning meeting is all about planning for the day, remember, this is the only time in the day that we're all going to be together focused like this. Now, you're passing each other in the hallways and the ops and so forth, and there's little snippets of information. But the morning huddle is the only time where we're all together, specifically focused on what needs to happen today. And so that's when all those trade-offs of those requests need to happen. Again, it's not about coming to the meeting and brainstorming about how we're going to get there. That defeats the whole purpose. You've only got a short window of opportunity. We would suggest 10 to 15 minutes. That means, by definition, everybody's got to come to the table already knowing this information, already being clear about what needs to happen. So it's all about just making the request. And in 10 or 15 minutes, you can make a lot of requests. You can make a lot of adjustments and so forth. It's also about, looking at the schedule, but that's a very small piece of it. What are the things that we need to know that are not readily apparent when I look in the schedule? Okay, Miss Jones is coming in today. Now remember, Miss Jones has this issue. It's not in the schedule, but everybody knows Miss Jones. Just a reminder, this is something that we need to be aware of with Miss Jones. Okay, that's important stuff. But at the end of the day, the most important stuff is, where am I to go in my chair? How am I going to get there? And what requests do I need to make to be able to get there? And as I said before, this is the only time that everybody is going to be together throughout the course of the day. So it's an opportunity to be very, very proactive, right? We got a lot of things going on today in addition to what we have to do with our patients. We've got reinstatement that needs to happen on the operative side. We've got reinstatement that needs to happen on the hygiene side. We've got accounts receivable that need to be dealt with. We got insurance, whatever, right? All of these things are going on. Now is an opportunity to look in the schedule and figure out, how are you going to be able to do what you need to do, or what requests do you need to make of each other to be able to get that piece of it done. So it's really about planning the day in all senses, from a production standpoint, from a collection standpoint. What's our shortfall and how are we going to get there, and then what request do I need to make to be able to make it so. But it's also about pre-planning, looking ahead. If I'm a front desk and I'm responsible for collections, I need to be looking out and going, okay, when are potential hygiene patients going to be released, and where are those possible log jams, right? Do I need to make requests to somebody to handle this financial so I can handle that financial? Do we have new patients in the chair that are going to be released at the same time? What's the issue there? A little bit of proactive approach can help you plan the day, right? Now, the afternoon meeting is a totally different thing, but right now we're talking about the morning huddle. And an effective morning huddle revolves around pre-planning your day, not brainstorming about how we're going to get there. That's for you to do ahead of time. The morning huddle is about making those requests, what you need, how you need it, here's what I need, how can I support you, how does that look? Because again, you're not going to have the opportunity to come together like that at the very highest level. The reason we're talking about this is, Most offices out there spend the entire morning huddle yawning, eating breakfast, talking about a few things in a schedule, and then going to work, right? If you're going to be effective, make your morning huddle about implementing the plans. What requests do you need? Who do you need that support from? How does it look very specifically? That, at the end of the day, is what's going to have you be as successful as you possibly can. I can tell you this. Every business on earth that is successful has some type of morning huddle. This is not just a dental kind of a thing. I mean, if you want to be successful, an effective morning huddle is key. But an ineffective morning huddle, you guys, it's a total waste of time. Like, if you're just going to walk through the schedule, I'll tell you what, I would take an extra 5 minutes and lay in bed and then come in, recharged. Right, Mr. Producer?
That's right.
If you're going to have an ineffective morning huddle, why? Just skip it. Make your morning huddles effective. That means to be able to do the things that we've talked about, having the due diligence done ahead of time, knowing where my shortfall is in my chair, and then coming to the table ready with the request. Very specifically, I've already done the due diligence. I know what I need to be able to get where I'm going to go. That means that you, as the captain of the ship, are going to have to hold your team accountable for doing the due diligence. Take 5 minutes before you leave today to figure out what tomorrow looks like and what you need and how it's going to be unfolding, and then come to the table in the morning meeting ready to make those requests. Or if you're a morning person like I am, then take 5 minutes ahead of the morning meeting. Look at what's all's going on today. What do you have to accomplish? What is your shortfall? Come prepared with that information, ready to make requests, and challenge each other. If somebody's coming to your morning meeting and they're not prepared, that is a weak link in the entire chain of events, right? That's where we're going to log jam. The whole purpose of the morning meeting is to be able to plan through those log jams. You and I both know there are going to be things that pop up throughout the course of a day that are beyond your control. However, about 98% of it is within your control if everybody on the team is coming to the table proactively looking forward, anticipating where the challenges are, and making requests to work through those challenges. At the end of the day, the only reason we come to you is about you having happier clients, better results, making more money. But it's also about enjoying the ride. An effective morning huddle not only can allow you to support your clients at a higher level and have happier clients and get better results and make more money. At the end of the day, a really effective morning huddle can save you gobs of time and disorganization, and all sorts of stress and stomach lining. And at the end of the day, that's what it is I want for you. I hope this helps. If you need help from us, you can find us at thecrabtreegroup.com, or you can reach out and just send us an email. We'll be glad to answer that and support you any way that we possibly can. I'm Sean. Thanks for joining me on Dental Profits Podcast. Hope you have a great day.